India is not at war with itself. It's not at war with its own 200 million strong Muslim population. But there has come a time when Indian Islam and its Sufi representation should now hold the ground, hold the fort more assiduously, because the night is dark and full of terrors. Let's open up this conversation and try to put this into perspective. Irshad Hussain is joining us. He's a foreign policy expert. He's also part of this team regarding Impar, and if you watch NewsX regularly, you'll be familiar with them. Major Mohammed Ali Shah is also on the broadcast with us. He sits with us regularly. He's also part of this Impar team. Zeenat Shaukat Ali is joining us on the broadcast as well. So I will be discussing PFI, okay, but I'm trying to beg your attention, okay, that the issue has to be larger. So I'm begging your indulgence to bear with me. Major Shah is with me. Major Shah, you know, there is a context to which we are having this conversation, right? There is a purse that is important, whether it is right, wrong, well-timed, crossing the line, you know, throwing the baby out of the bath, what are all open questions, and the PFI debates is something we are having parallelly to this. But the point here is, what is your understanding growing up as a young Muslim in India, okay, of what Indian Islam is?
Rishabh, very, very good question. But before I answer your question, I would like to compliment you and for doing a very, you know, I've observed you steer the most difficult subjects so effortlessly. You and your entire team of NewsX, I must commend you on that. Now, you know, Rishabh, when I grew up in a boarding school, Lawrence School, Lovedale. We were protected. In fact, I am wearing my Lawrence School shirt, reunion shirt right now. Yeah, we were very well protected from what happens outside. We did not know about anyone's caste, culture, creed, religion, identity. We all knew that we were Laurentians. We all were Indians. We all were. Then I joined the army. In the army, we only follow one religion, which is the Mother India, which is the Indian Army. So dharm keval ek hi hai. In fact, we have the dharm sthal. In fact, we all play together. We all worship together. So I, as Professor Zeenat Shaukat Ali rightly said, she never saw anyone. You don't see me as, oh, I'm talking to a Muslim guy. You're talking to a friend. You're talking to a panelist. You are talking to someone who you know. That's about it. So yes, and Indian Islam, when we talk about, I will not call it Indian Islam. I would rather call it, majority of it as Sufism. And Saudi Arabia, which is very, very conservative, I would call it Wahhabism. So there is Wahhabism and Sufism. And now in India, there is no fight between Muslims and Hindus. It's a fight between, it's not a fight rather, I would say. It's
okay, so there were different, I mean, so Major Shah, you know, there were the Ghaznis and Ghoris who came for the booty and did the massacres and, you know, destroyed the temples and looted and went away. But the Muslims who came, some of them as far away as Persia, who lived here, okay, good, bad or ugly, and you can debate history, and that's an open question. I'm not passing judgment on that, okay. Good things happen, bad things happen, nasty things happen, ugly things happen, okay. But the community left behind, which is you, which is everybody here on this panel with me, that community left behind has evolved in a syncretic culture much different to an evolution that has happened in other parts of the world. You mentioned Sufism. This is how I recognize Islam, is when you, on Thursday night, you go to the Nizamuddin Dargah and you listen to the Qawwali music, which for a very fundamentalist person would be haram. So understanding this, how do we now become truer than Major Shah to this syncretic Sufi Islam, knowing full well that efforts are underway by very rich people who are throwing money at the problem, throwing extremism at the problem, and will continue doing so?
Again, very intelligently brought out by you, Rishabh. You know, see, it's very realized. We debunk, all of us, nobody sympathizes with the radicals. Nobody. In fact, the liberal Muslims. So it's not an issue between the Hindu, the Muslim. It is an issue between the radical and the liberals. It's as simple as that. And let me tell you, they are in a minority, but yet they are destructive, Rishabh. They can cause, I mean, you've seen it happen. And let me tell you, the word Islamophobia comes from these radicals. In fact, I wrote an open letter, you are familiar with that, to Jaish-e-Mohammed. terrorist outfit. I mentioned why a right Muslim in India suffers not because of an Islamophobia of a Hindu person, no, but because of ill actions of these radicals. They are the ones who give Islam a bad name. They are the ones for which Professor Shaukat Ali, Shah Hussain, Major Mohammed Ali Shah, everyone always looked
No,
upon
we are
with
all
a
guilty. No, I am guilty. Major Shah, you are guilty. All of you are guilty. You are guilty of not, speaking up more often earlier. I am guilty of not having provided you the space which you get now. Okay, some people now text me that Major Shah is constantly on you, with you, and several people who sit with us regularly. So I am guilty in the past of, listening, because there were people, I was mentioning this to Najib Jangji a bit earlier. There were people who, like the Babri Action Committee, their entire lives and careers were spent on a single cause. That had become the Din Ki Dehadi, and they had appropriated themselves the leadership of Islam in this country, which I don't know whether was accurate or not. Major Shah, often in religion, it's not true just of Islam or Hinduism, of Christianity or of Judaism. The people who take the most extreme voice appropriate themselves the leadership, and the people who are moderate in thinking, who are being logical, rational, if I can go on to say, are sidelined. That has to have a role reversal now, not just in India, but globally. Because unless we do it, I'll give you a small example. There is an issue going on in Iran regarding 30 women who've been killed over the protests against the hijab. There is a paucity of conversation in India about it. Now, what then starts happening, Major Shah, is that we assume that the plaintiffs, the petitioners who are going and petitioning for the hijab, we assume that, oh, these people are the same mindset as these ideologues and ayatollahs, unless someone comes and speaks otherwise. So how do we then put this Indian Sufi syncretic version out to the globe?
A very, very well brought out, Rishabh, and I can't thank you enough for taking out this point. It's a very, very logical and a rational point which needs to be heard by the entire world. See, you gave a very brilliant analogy of what's happening in Iran. 30 women have been killed, women are protesting, they're burning hijab, and they should fight for their liberation. Yes, I stand with my sisters in Iran right now who are protesting over there. Anything that is a force, thrust, or compelled upon you should be opposed. No, I just, in India, like you mentioned in the beginning, Hindus and Muslims, we are not enemies. We are Indians, we are one, right? So the perception which was being created unnecessarily was that there's a divide between Hindus and Muslims, which is not the case. So 5 Muslim intellectuals, Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah Sahab, the former Deputy Chief of the Army Staff, Aligarh Muslim University, Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor, Lieutenant Governor Najib Jang, Syed Yaqub Qureshi Sahab, the former Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Sherwani, an entrepreneur, and Mr. Shahid Siddiqui. They met Mr. Mohan Bhagwat the RSS chief, to build bridges, to make sure that the communication gap which is there, and they realized that the differences were very minimal actually. Now that meeting, Rishabh, did not go very well with a lot of radicals from both sides. A lot of extreme Hindutva people did not like it. Why? The RSS chief is meeting 5 Muslim intellectuals, and many Muslims also did not appreciate it. A lot of people on the left did not appreciate it. Oh, why are these Muslims meeting the RSS chief? What is the problem? I want to ask these people, what is the problem? Even if the 5 Muslim intellectuals met the RSS chief, if the RSS chief reached out to the Muslim intelligentsia, what is the problem? The channels of communication are open. The misnomer, the misunderstanding is clarified. Yes.
Okay. So we should be able to face the tough questions, okay? But maybe the cauterization, when you cauterize a wound, okay, a catharsis that needs to happen, that ideally needs to happen from within, putting out the identity which happens if the RSS chief is talking to Najib Jang and Major Shah's respected father. These are good things happening. So I know there are lots of challenges, but for the better part of several years, in insult to Prophet, to this issue, to that issue, I've grown up with Ram Mandir issue, with Kashmir. I'm seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. Fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it. Okay. Thank you, all of you.